Hey everyone, welcome to another Tuesday live stream. I'm your host, Corey, with Aquarium Co-op out of Edmonds, Washington. Which I have to say that more because every day someone will tell me, I didn't know your store was in Edmonds, Washington. I've been watching you for 12 years. Which is hard to believe that we've been doing it that long and that people wouldn't know. So, today we're talking about unheated aquariums. I've had an interest in this for a very long time. It started with breeding fish outside, summer tubbing, if you will, which we're kind of coming upon that season. And basically, as I researched more of that, I wanted to extend my season. How long could these fish stay outside? And I tried to go longer and longer and longer. And some of what I realized was, oh my gosh, these will overwinter here. And that would be things like white clouds. And then, the next year it's like, well, yeah, I got white clouds. Let's try some cherry shrimp. And oh my gosh, cherry shrimp survived over the year with ice over the pond. And we're talking, some ponds as small as 25 gallons of water. So that's kind of where it started. And then, my journey into this. So I was doing that, trying to see how low could they go. And I would get them down to, like some variatus platies really started struggling under about 60, getting into the 50s. I could bring guppies down to 62-ish, and we're going to talk about some of the strains and things like that. And then the next dose of kind of unheated aquariums was visiting someone who had an unheated fish room, and you can watch that video on our channel. Type in unheated aquariums, and none of his tanks were heated, and he had tropical fish, and that was very interesting to me. And then I had things like goodeids and stuff in my garage that were unheated, and it got really cold. Like, I go, it's 40 degrees out here, and they're still breeding, doing fine, right? But that species likes to be a little bit cooler. You're not shocked when someone says, "Hey, I had koi outside," or "I have goldfish outside." But then you start stumbling upon little things like researching stuff to breed outside, and you go, "Wait, a Pistogramma borelli can go pretty cool." And then you learn that a lot of the pseudomogil rainbows can go pretty cool water. Like, wait a second. Then you learn about things like rosy barbs, right? They can go really cool water. And then, kind of keep working with all that. Fast forward, and I'm talking to customers. They're doing things outside. There's people breeding bristlenose plecos for quite a few months outside here. And our local temperatures, by the way, like the coldest it got this summer was about, not this summer, this winter was about 20 degrees, maybe 18 degrees. But for the most part, it was lost my train of thought. My wife just opened a can of something. The temperatures for the most part don't really go below freezing. They kind of 34, 36. It sits there for a long time. And we have had brutal years where we do have several inches of ice. And, some things don't make it, some things do. But when we're talking about just an unheated aquarium, we're talking about indoor temps, right? Inside your house, just not heating it. And I've made videos like you don't need heaters and other kind of stuff. And, that keeps coming up from like going to Peru, where you might go into this stream off of the Amazon and the water is separated out, meaning it's like enough is evaporated that it's not part of the main water anymore. And you might feel the water and it's really hot during the day. And then you get there early in the morning, it's really cold. And then I remember where it really cemented this to me was one of the trips in Peru. We were staying in this house, and there was no windows. It was only screens, right? And so to keep the bugs out. And it got really cold. The big storm rolled in. There was wind and rain. It was coming in through the window. It actually was soaking the bed. It was a horrible night's sleep. It was terrible. But I remember looking it up, and it had gotten into the 50s and everything. And it had been that way went on that way for 2 or 3 days. And when we still went and collected because we're still there, right? You're still doing the trip, and you're like, it's freezing. This water is pretty cool. Especially because we, on that trip, were going up into the mountains, cloud forest and And so there would be days where it's really hot. There's also days where it's pretty cool water-wise. And so that really, when I started doing that, I started keeping discus in the store without extra heaters. I started bringing fish home from these trips, and I run my fish room much cooler. I used to hide that for a long time. I would basically say, well, I don't know this is success. So when people ask me what should they keep their fish at, I will say roughly 78 degrees. Where my own personal experience is, as you guys see more and more in the videos if you're watching them, tanks might be like at 70 or 71 in here. Like I'm only heating this room to 72 now. This last week or so, I started talking with someone on the forum, and they only run an unheated fish room, and I love the concept of that. And they were talking with me, and they had even said, like, they've even bred, like, the Dark Knight rams at 68 degrees. He said, they're slow to reproduce, it takes a while, but they lived, and they were healthy, and he brought up something that I thought was important. He's like, there's just less bacteria also available in cooler water. So it's a little bit easier to keep fish. Their metabolism's a little bit slower. There's a lot of good things going for you. But a lot of fish are bred around the world and kept in very hot temperatures. And so you can see where maybe if you get it from a farm and they were keeping it at 85, and now you're keeping it at your house at 78, like, oh, that's only, only a 7-degree difference. But if you just go and you're like, oh, I'm keeping it at 68, like, that's quite a big difference. But in the wild, you'll watch a fish go from 80-degree water to 70-degree water like it's nothing. They can just dive down, even in Peru. And I'm talking about the exact fish that we see in our aquariums. It's not just like, oh, it's just, a salmon or a trout. Like, I'm talking the exact, you watch Oscars and angels and tetras do this, and they'll go back and forth, and corridoras do it like it's nothing. They literally don't care. And so what I wanted to talk about today is that I still believe, I'm not even saying new, I still believe most fish can be kept in home aquariums without heaters. Now, there are some things, to know, like, hey, that came from someone keeping it really hot, or a farm that's keeping it really hot. That does weigh in on it. There's species like apistos and discus and rams that are known to want to be hotter. That doesn't mean they have to be kept that way, though. And so, first and foremost, if you're like, I disagree, this guy's crazy, just don't do it. Just keep your fish as hot as you want. It doesn't matter to me. It makes no difference to me. But if you're curious like I am, and you're going, yeah, my heater has been broken and I didn't notice a problem. Or people say you got to keep it at this and I don't notice a problem. Maybe you start trying to push the limits like some people are. And I say limits, like they're self-imposed limits. They're not necessarily, like well documented. Like, oh, we all agree that this fish dies at this temperature. It's all, hey, I had problems, and it doesn't necessarily correlate to temperatures. So, in fact, I watch a lot of problems happen with too warm. Angels fighting, like the number one answer is turn the heat down, right? Spawning a lot, turn the heat down. Like, fish are meant in the wild to go through a cycle. There's a warm season and there's a cool season. And when you look up water temperatures for different areas that fish come from, a lot of times you'll be shocked at water temps. So I'm gonna pull one up just to see, like, Amazon River water temperature today near Manaus, right? Let me do some conversions. Let's see, today's temp. Is this, that's air temperature. I want water temperature. Oh, wait, water temperature. Yeah. Okay. So let me convert from Celsius, because I'm an American and I can't put a reference to you. Celsius to Fahrenheit converter. All right. So if we go, I'm going to pull this here. And all right, so in January, right? So you got to remember some of this sometimes. No, it looks like it'll be fairly cool then. Okay. The minimum temperature in that does not seem right. Anyway, there's 1 month where so the minimum temperature is normally around 24 Celsius. There's one that says 3 Celsius. There's no way. Oh, here's a nice chart. So on average, chart of monthly average water temperature in the Amazon River near Manaus is basically about 77 degrees. Now that we kind of all expected, like, yeah, 78 degrees, that makes sense, right? But that you got to keep in mind that's average, not mins and maxes, right? And so, like, what's a 24 Celsius? This isn't proving my point very well, by the way. Yeah, so 24 Celsius, 75 degrees. But if we look at, I know there's some rainbows. Let me look up some rainbows here. Like, I'm doing a bad case at selling this, but Papua New Guinea water temps. Let's see if I can get that. Oh. Because I want to try and I want to try and start with nature and then bring it into what we can do as humans. So, because that's always the first argument. It's like, well, we always want to do like what nature does. That's the best. And that's not always true. Oh, well, that's the salt water. Let me try lake temperatures. Lake water temperatures. Lake water temperatures. Port Moresby. There we go. We know some rainbows come from there. Do they have water temp? Yes. They're showing in the 80s at Port Moresby, but that's the ocean temp. It's not the lake temp because there's ocean all around it, right? So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. But I know this. When you do find the studies on like rainbows and things from where they've been collected. Let me try that. See if that'll pull up anything. Yeah. Here's an article. This is not good for a live stream. That's not loading. Anyway, you can look it up and you can see most times a lot of the aquarium fish we're keeping will be down in the 50s at certain times of the year. And what we know from hobby history, there were times we kept fish we didn't have heaters. We had to try candles, we had to try other things, or there just wasn't even heaters. And then we know there's times of like in the guppy world, for instance, where we wanted them to live without heaters, so we didn't use heaters, and we made sure they were very hardy. And then my own experience is I basically breed everything that I've ever bred, which, I'm a master breeder at this point, in basically unheated aquariums. Now, I do heat the spaces I'm in because I don't like being cold. So I actually try to turn this room down to like 68. And as I'm working in my office, I'm like, I'm a little bit cold in here. And so I haven't really gone down much more than 70 degrees because I get cold. So, I don't have that firsthand experience to dole out, but other people can chime in and go, hey, you'll see like killifish people, for instance. Killifish people really don't use heaters for the most part at all, and they just like live in a closet. Meanwhile, those people are catching their killies like right next to us catching tropical fish, quote unquote, in Peru. Like the people on the same trip, they're just collecting different fish. And so it's funny how different groups can handle things a little bit different. Guppy guys are a little more amenable to Unheated. Killifish guys are too. Goldfish people, obviously. Um, but then you have like bettas. Bettas like, oh, they got to be 80. And it's like, well, we've seen, we've got someone local that breeds them in a pond outside, not year round, but for a lot of it. So, and really, I just want to talk about that and say, you know, what are you guys' experiences? Have you tried it? Have you tried turning it down? And where did you actually see problems? So often, people will be like, yeah, it's a 74, and then like, do you try others? Like, no, it's just a 74 or just a 78. And I find that the lower and lower I go, it's the same for me. Kind of like with filtration, like if I keep removing filtration from my tanks, I don't experience problems. Um, so I think that's going to be another big chapter in my fish keeping career. Is I'm probably just going to not run heaters for the most part and be able to help guide you guys through that as well. Now, whenever I talk about heaters, people say, "Oh, my house runs at 62 degrees." Like, you live much cooler, or you live in a place that my house is 300 years old, right? And I'm not saying you can't use heaters, and I'm not saying that like filters also produce heat. There's a lot of things that go into this, but the question I want to raise is, why are we keeping it warmer? So like this person says, I find I get less issues with disease and parasites at lower temps. Yeah, in general, you want animals to be happy, like a human, right? So if I'm way too hot, I'm more likely to get sick, right? If I'm way too cold, I'm more likely to get sick. If I get in the range where I'm comfortable, I'm less likely to get sick. And that doesn't even account for, like one of the reasons, maybe we should talk about why. Why do we keep fish so hot? Why would a farm keep it really hot? So just like if I was to get sick and my body goes, hey, here's a fever, it helps fight off the bacteria. Well, like a discus farm, for instance, if they run it 90 degrees, bacteria can't even survive. So you don't have any bacterial infections or anything more to even deal with as a farm. And that's a huge plus. However, when you get it home to your aquarium, that's not a plus anymore because plants won't live and beneficial bacteria won't live. And so you're at odds with it. Now, in the wild, fish live with disease and parasite all the time. It's cooler, but something like ick, when it drops off, it attaches to a new fish. It's not stuck in a closed system. So that's not always apples to apples. But the fact that we can keep it cooler, they eat a little bit less. They don't breed all the time. So you cut down on a lot of aggression. You cut down on babies too. So some people are like, well, I want lots of spawning and growth and all that. Especially when you're new, you want that. But long term, you kind of learn that you can do what you want to do and you don't necessarily have to heat. It just takes longer. And I'm definitely a guy that I would rather have it be more stable and less work if more stable and less work if I lost my train of thought because I saw a light flash. Yeah, basically if it's easier, I'm willing to do it and it's better for the fish. Or okay, I know where I was going. And it doesn't compromise the fish. We are so often led by fear that we don't even test that. And Steven brings up a good example. The stores sell heaters preset to 78. So as newbie years go, he bought one and 78 is ingrained in your brain. Yeah, it's also an easy number. Everyone says it. It's safe. The thing about setting your temperature at 78, it won't hurt anything pretty much. Like it can work. What does Dean say about this? I don't know. Ask him. I mean, I've talked with Dean a lot, and I don't think Dean's a good guy to talk to about this because Dean produces fish commercially. So that's not what most of us are doing, though. And what I mean by that is Dean can make more fish than everybody in chat combined, basically, and he uses a 10-foot room when he's doing it. Like right now, he's not even really doing it. He's keeping fish, but he's not like full on breeding fish like he normally would. Now, that being said, you start going, if you really start poking around Dean's, which you guys won't get the chance, you're like, wait, that tank's not heated? Wait, this tank's not heated? Wait, what's going on over there? And so Dean's also trying things, like you could also say like, well, what is Dean doing? And you could also say like, how many sets of plecos has Dean unfortunately lost to heaters? As in, he every 2 or 3 years he ends up cooking a whole batch of zebra plecos because they want to be warm, but they end up dying. And so, could he keep them alive without them? Probably. Could he breed them without it? We don't know. He hasn't really had good luck with them. So, yeah, Matt says my shrimp breed better at 73 with a heater. I think that's probably true. My question would be, do you need that? And you might say, yes, I live off the income from my shrimp. And then I'd be like, yeah, I'm not really talking about that. When you talk about, I've got 6 aquariums around my house and I keep them for fun, that's kind of a different animal, I think. What I'll say is, like, I breed lots of shrimp, like a lot, like buckets full going to the store at 70 degrees with no heating outside of heating the room for my comfort, and cranking it up more wouldn't necessarily, wouldn't necessarily be a benefit to me. But it's not even, I guess I should clarify, I'm not answering the question, what is the best possible temperature for fish? Because I'm not sure we know that. I think for the most part, like if you were to do this aquarium, there's no way you could get a best possible temperature. You have stuff from lakes in Africa, you've got stuff from Asia, you've got stuff from like Papua or Australia, you've got Bolivian rams, you've got snails in there, you've got plecos, you've got plants. There is no one best temperature, so we're at best making a compromise on everything. And all I'm saying is, instead of approaching it with must use heat, start approaching it with, I wonder if I could use less heat. Let's try that. Because you start opening up possibilities. Could be cheaper, right? Could have to not buy heaters. You might not have the liability if a heater went bad. But then also you might be able to keep them outside some, and you might not have AC. Like, I know when I had a fish room and I didn't have AC, the less heat I use during the night, the less hot it'd be during the day. So, fish are cold-blooded, so keeping them at a higher temperature makes them more mobile and lively. Yes. Yeah. If you boil a fish, it will move around more. Like, heat does that for everything. That doesn't mean it's necessarily good, though. And I guess I'm trying to get away from the what is the best possible and open people's minds to what could be, right? Because I guess I have no way to prove that 78 is better than 76, or that 76 is better than 74 for any fish. I think we're all collectively just going, they didn't die, so they're fine, right? And maybe here's a great example. I've got a pistos I've bred at 72 degrees, 73 degrees. I have a pistos I've bred, same pisto by the way, Cacatoides at 80. I've bred them at 82, and I've bred them at 85. But I don't actually know which one is the best. Part of it is, it's hard to define what is best. Is it more fry? Is it less aggression between the adults? Is it growing faster? Is it less deformities? Like, there could be all of those things. Like, we can't even agree whether some fish are actually affected by temperature with male-female ratios from fry. So there's so much unknown, I would say. Garrett says, my peppercorns will breed at 67 to 69 degrees, more than I can raise up. Yeah, and I will always say, like, if you want to run, your fish at 180 degrees, go ahead and do it. Like, I have opposite extremes, by the way. Soda Lake cichlids they run at 110 to 115 degrees. I have tried them outside of that. I could not keep them alive and healthy. And I tried 3 times. So kept a group for quite a while at the recommended like 115. Ended up moving them on. Got them in again. And was like, I'm going to try to keep them at normal, like 78 degrees. Did not do well. Then I tried them like again because I was like, well, maybe that one set I got just wasn't doing that well. Like, nope, they didn't do well. So, there's always going to be some of those things. But yeah, that fish literally, in my care, would not live under about 110 degrees, which is crazy. When you put your arm in there, it is real hot, real warm. Yeah. I gotta look that up because that just saying that out loud seems insane, but I know they go really hot. Is that 95? Am I just making... I want to make sure I'm not making stuff up. Soda Lake temperature. Soda Lake... Up to 38 Celsius. What's 38 Celsius? 38... That's 100. So, it's more like 100 degrees. 95 to 100, not 110 to 115. So, strike that from the record. It's real hot, though. Like, it is noticeably hot. My tank's on the main floor. I know the temp's 72 to 74, so no heater needed then. Yeah, I also... Okay, another experience I have, or more experiences I have, they're much smaller experiences. They're not long-term studies, but mini studies would be power outages, both at the store, warehouse, and here at my home. And I've had it where tanks are down 65, like, and yet the fish do okay. Now you'll have some people like, they got too cold and they died. That can happen too. Fish and shipping typically do fine in the 60s, right? And that's with the added stress of actual shipping. So, yeah. Thanks for those donating memberships, by the way. If you don't know, check out the Mullen podcast. Let's see here. Oh, gonna make me pronounce words. Epilminion? I don't know how to say that. The top layer versus the middle layer versus the bottom layer of rivers and lakes vary in temperatures. Yes, so another thing, if you don't know this, when you're doing ponds outside, you want the water to stratify. And what does that mean? That means that you're not mixing the water. So the top water that's frozen, let it be cold. The water that's down in the earth, kind of real low, let it be warmer, like 55 degrees. If you run filtration or air, it'll all mix, and maybe now all of your water's 33 degrees. And so letting the water stratify, fish go low because it'll be warmer. And that happens typically in our ponds and things outside as well. And it can happen a little bit in your aquarium sometimes, not nearly as much, but you'd have to have pretty tall aquariums and not a lot of movement. Well, I guess there's a lot of people running like dirted tanks and unfiltered tanks, and it would happen there. Yeah, your light and stuff would heat up the topper layer of water. Heat would rise, so you'd get like a little bit of that, I think. Chiming in to say that my angels went into shock at 70 when I swapped out a cracked tank and didn't wait long enough for the water to heat up. So I would say that is not a good data point. Why would you say that, Corey? Because everything got changed, right? Like, you could have changed pH, could have changed the amount of oxygen in the water, right? You swapped tanks because it cracked, substrate. There's a whole bunch of things that could have went on. And so, and it also those all could have been spot on, and the only thing that's changed was water temperature. But I find most times, when you're truly trying to test something, you got to isolate for one thing. So it's like, well, nothing else changed. I just changed temperature, most likely. You can factor in that result. But sometimes there's things that change, like, by keeping them cooler, I feed less, so there's less nitrates. You can't help it. But yeah, I can also say I have angelfish right over there at 70 and they're doing fine. So that's where our own experiences will definitely lead the way we will talk in a conversation about a fish. And different strains of fish or different sources of fish, even the same strain of a fish from a different source, could have different effects. One was raised its whole life being cold, so the stuff that comes from my fish room is used to being at 71. The stuff that comes from Dean's fish rooms more used to being 78-ish, right? So when you take that in your home and you put it straight into a tank, it's going to feel different potentially. We actually don't even know that's for a fact, but we're trying to figure out, some of us are talking, why is it that some fish won't do well at lower temps, but then you get it from a different source and it does fine? It doesn't seem to be a disease. It doesn't seem to be a parasite. It doesn't seem to be genetics even, because sometimes you can get, like, let's say let's say Vienna guppies, right? The Vienna guppies that live with me, kind of cooler water, but maybe the ones you get from Dean, hotter water, and they wouldn't go back down as easy, maybe. The other thing I see a lot of is throughout Europe and stuff, places I visit, more likely to have cooler aquariums. Less, like, there are heaters for sure, but you just see more of like it's working, why would I change it? Like, oh, that's a good point. I guess I don't know why you wouldn't change that. Yeah, and you can see things like Rusty Wessel, for instance. He has a pond with koi, but it also has like platies and swordtails, and it stays out there year round. So the more you kind of get out and the more you see and the more you go, oh, that can be done, huh? But then you might try it yourself and, oh, I just killed those. It didn't work. And you got to kind of know, like, well, is that because of temp? Is it because of the genes or the source and where they were being kept? And so I think what I'm learning, and I think some other people are starting to learn, is getting them cold tolerant sometimes takes a generation. And the biggest thing, one of the biggest advocates or reasons for local bred fish, like hobbyist bred fish, is they're more likely to be bred and raised in your climate. So, if they're raised outside, for instance, and you're going to put them outside, you're going to have the same climate. You'll have an exact match, right? It's less likely that you'll be keeping them crazy hot and someone else will be keeping them crazy cold, but at least water conditions would be good. Like, that's a perk. Yeah, so lots to talk about. I want to chime in on the super chat because I turned super chats back on, and I don't want to lose it. It's been a while because sometimes people like, he didn't answer right away and they get angry. Not saying this person is, but if that happens to you, don't worry. I try what I can. That's all I can do. Hey, Corey, I'm also in Washington. I breed super reds, L236, and cichlids. I mostly sell to fish stores. Would love to see if you'd ever be interested. The things to sell to us, you have to have a business license, you have to have a price list, you have to have good pictures, you have to email us, and you have to be able to deliver them on a weekday. And we have to need them. So, like, there's obviously a series of steps because, and like, we have some other people breeding some super reds. So sometimes it's like, well, we promise we take this batch from this person, or we've been buying from, let's say Dean was making whatever cichlid you've got. And it's like, well, we've kind of, Dean's been doing it for a long time, and, we don't want to ruin his income source to bring on another one. And so sometimes you might have to camp out a spot, or sometimes, I'll be honest, we just don't like your fish. Like, ooh, how do we tell them that those super reds suck? Or maybe you got the best ones you've ever seen. Like, it can go any way, but people get real offended real easy when you're like, we don't want those fish. They get angry, and it's like, that's not how business works. You're kind of not allowed to, I shouldn't say not allowed, but it's not a good idea to get angry at the person that won't buy from you when they weren't asking to buy. It's not like, I don't want to single out Eric here, but it's one thing if I say, oh my gosh, we cannot get our hands on super reds. Does anybody have any? I will totally buy them. And then you go, hey, I've got them, Corey. And then I go, oh, I'm just kidding. I'm not buying them. It's another thing if you go, hey, I've got these fish. And we go, oh, well, we don't need them right now. You could check back. Or, yeah, we typically don't sell those. Or, or we've got a source. This person's been doing it for 5 years. Or they said they're moving. Stuff's always changing. So, you can send us an email. And Broncho Store Manager can take a look and go, hey, do we need these species right now at these sizes too? It's important to get the right sizes and at the right prices. So there's a lot of factors that got to kind of line up to make it work. And, Like I can choose from, let's say, 1,000 different wholesalers to buy fish. I pick the ones that work well with our schedule, our pricing, our quality standards, all of that. And we do the same with people. And you might just be like, oh, your price is different than we want to pay. Or the sizes you want to sell them at are different than what we want to bring them in at. Or you can only deliver on weekends. We can't receive fish on weekends. There could be all kinds of stuff that get in the way on that for anybody. It's not just you, just anybody. And so it's nice when it works out and like, yeah, we got a relationship going. We buy from this person for years, and we've got a few people that we do that with. And there's some that's like, yeah, it's a one of, and there's some that's just no, they made it really hard, or it just didn't work out, or the fish weren't healthy, or whatever. All the things that could go wrong when it comes to livestock. I meant to say this at the beginning of the live stream, so probably if you're watching by now, you've already would have left. But do know that this live stream will have ads. I'm going to test it. I want to see what the income would be and if it gets more views and other things. So if you're listening this far and you're like, there has been ads, like that's by design, just letting YouTube do its thing. I want to analyze the data. So yeah, if you can always get ad-free version of this on the podcasting platform. So if you're just listening to it and you don't want ads, you can always download it on like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Libsyn, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. It's all around. So if you're like, hey, I don't want to listen to that ad, you don't have to. Let's see here. I get to get my Veiltail cherry barbs in. They're in, and some platinum angelfish. So that's good. Putting them in quarantine. That's one thing I wanted to talk about today was quarantine as well. I thought about this as like a double topic, and yeah. So then says, I haven't seen an ad yet. Well, there'll be no ads while it's live. I don't run any ads. I can click a button and run ads. I don't interrupt the live show, right? But when it automatically uploads later, it will inject ads, and it's not a live situation. So yeah. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Quarantine tanks. So quarantine tanks, I think I've helped mislead people. So I tell people you should always quarantine fish, always quarantine, use the Med Trio, quarantine. And then when people watch my videos, they don't really see me quarantine. Even though all of my tanks are quarantine tanks, because I don't really mix fish. What does that mean, Corey? Well, when Dan's fish comes in, I treat them, and they're quarantined. And then, most time, they'll stay in that tank. So you don't get the true, experience where most people at home, oh, I've got a tank they're going into. Oh, they go in my display. And you would quarantine them in a different tank. Well, part of the problem when I'm showing that on video is my stuff that's being quarantined, it also has plants in it. And I think that's where I've been leading people astray. I really think it's a good idea to not have live plants in your quarantine tank. I see it all the time on the forum, and so much so that all my advice is always, if you don't have plants, do this. If you do have plants, you got to do this. And really, when it comes to options, we've now have sick fish. The more options you have at hand, the better. So often, I would say probably 70% of anything you'll ever run into as a hobbyist, ever, treatable with salt. And so plants don't like salt. But the fact that you can go, ooh, something's going wrong. I'm not even sure what it is. Salt. Salt could be the first move most of the time. And when too often people are like, well, I was quarantining plants, or, oh, I had extra plants. I didn't want to throw them out, so I put them in here. And then they start looking kind of good, and you're like, well, I don't want to use salt now. And so I really wanted to stress to people, and I put it in a video I was working on, and I'm going to show some more, but I really wanted to stress, I don't recommend plants in your quarantine tank so that you have the most options to treat available, whether it's you want to use copper, whether you want to use salt, whether you want to use the Med Trio is plant safe. So that's the good news. The good news, if someone gets sick in there, I can use the Med Trio, any of those meds, and it'll be fine. I can't use salt in there. It would harm the plants. So I just wanted to remind people, like, hey, you should have a quarantine tank. And if you do, it should be empty of plants to get the maximum bang for your buck. Someone asked about the Eheim heater. I did receive it, and I totally ordered the wrong one. That's very interesting. Jennifer said, I'm a member and I just got 2 ads. For real? There should be none. There should be none during the actual live stream. But again, YouTube's doing all kinds of stuff. I can't control it anymore. So I'm also not shocked if that actually happened. Like, all the more reason. Like, if they're serving you ads and I don't put ads, we don't get the money. So we may as well like serve the ads and actually get the money too. Because that helps us do things. You know, like behind the scenes, we donate to clubs and things like that. So it just helps make the world go round for us. Not sure. Oh, anyway, the Eheim heater, by the way, I ordered the wrong one because I wanted the Wi-Fi version. The Wi-Fi version is like the Eheim Tronic Plus E, where I ordered the Eheim Tronic E. And now I'm kind of irritated that they named them so close that even I got fooled. And like, that's what I get for buying it on Amazon, I guess. A lot of those times, those things get you on Amazon where it's like, oh, okay. So I don't have the Wi-Fi version of it yet. I'm not even sure if because I plugged one in. I put a heater in my fry tank because I was like, I got to test some heaters for work, but I don't, necessarily want to use it. But so maybe I'll order one, maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm a member and I just got one on my way into the stream. That could be, I guess. I guess that could be on the way in. They serve you one set or whatever. I will say also that being a member, it does say on ads, by the way, like in the back end of YouTube, it does say like members will get less ads. If there was the ability to control it, which are taking more and more abilities away from me, but if there was the ability to control it, I would definitely click don't have ads. And by the way, like the Mullen podcast, no ads. I don't put any ads in. So if you ever get an ad during the members Mullen podcast, let me know because it shouldn't be. We aren't getting any of that money. We don't monetize it at all. It's purely you guys paid money to be a member. These are the perks. We're not then also trying to get extra money out of you on that. So just know that. Yeah, clubs and classrooms. Yep, we send a decent amount. Like, I don't want to be like, yeah, we send to anybody, and then all of a sudden we're spending thousands of dollars every month sending stuff away. But we try to support where we can, when we can. Not always can we. Like, I got to be honest, it's a rough week. Just paying the extra tariffs to get stuff on the water and all of that. Like, it's hitting us. There's no doubt that, like, it's tight. It's tight. We're making it work. Like, it's, I don't want to give the illusion like, oh God, they're going out of business. Like, it ain't that. But it's also just like, we would launch this product right here that I've been testing. If we, tariffs basically gobble up some of that money, we got to wait for commerce to happen. Every time you guys order, if you order $75, like, we probably make somewhere between $5 and $7. And then as we do that thousands of times a month, hopefully we have, and when I say make that, I mean, after everybody's paid, Candy gets paid, warehouse staff gets paid, all that kind of stuff. Once everybody's paid, then we've got some money to invest in new products or giving away to clubs or Project Amazonas, where they're, doing medical trips in Peru. Like, we spend our money, or it could be upgrading the store. So we have to wait for X amount of sales to happen to be like, hey, we actually made some money and we can now put that towards a thing, which might be like, yeah, spend $2,000 on new food. And like, oh, it's not good. Yeah, so I got a whole new round of different foods that, like, the newest wafer, not good. It's not good. So, it's on my desk still. It's too far away, but it's not good. For whatever reason, basically the community pellet formula slash the we tuned it a little bit so that it would sink better. It's not good. So not coming out. So struck out on that, and we will wait until we find the right combo of product to release. So just know that. You won't see any ads on YouTube with the Brave browser. Yeah, there's ad blockers and stuff too, so that's an option. Where I really feel, because there is so much you can do, where I really feel for people is, I get it. You just want to listen to YouTube on a TV while you're like in your fish room. And there's no ad blockers there. It's a pain in the butt to stop, all that. So I totally get it. And I wish, it's easy, like, just skip the ad. You got wet hands. You're inside of a tank. Like, I totally get it, and I wish they allowed us to have more control. I check every other day for the brine shrimp eggs. So the latest on the brine shrimp eggs. The latest. They are to arrive in Chicago on 4/2, so tomorrow. And then they have to take a truck to Kentucky, and then they're available. Now, I'm just going to let you guys know right now, the price had to go up, tariffs. So you're about to get there and be like, cost more than last time? Like, yeah, cost us 20% more. And you're probably going to go, but other eggs are cheaper. And they will be, totally, until they have to raise their prices. Like people, companies like us, we're raising our prices as we get them in where we had to pay the tariff. So being that ours are just coming in, they're going to cost more money. And you might be like, well, this vendor over here has got cheaper eggs. Like they will probably until, like, oh, it's been 3 months or 6 months or however fast they sell through them, they get a new batch. And then they'll raise their prices. Maybe not. Maybe they'll, brine shrimp eggs from day one have been not a profit product for us. Like there's not a lot of money in it for us because of the frozen containers that have to come over, because of buying freezers and paying the power to keep them cold. And just brine shrimp eggs are kind of ridiculous to harvest anyway, especially at that hatch quality. So just know that, when you see the price went up, we're not making, we honestly, I should have raised it more. We're making less profit than we used to. So we're working, and we're going to see, is there any wiggle room? We're going back to most of our vendors right now going, is there any wiggle room? Do you got anything you can do? Can we buy more? Can we change packaging? Is there anything we can do? And so we're hoping to claw back like, hey, we saved you guys 50 cents on this over here and that over there. We're hoping. But we'll have to see. I ordered 3 pots of crypt parva from the co-op, and I had over 30 individual plants between the 3 pots. Nice. Oh, by the way, kind of a new perk. Let me see if that's live. What's today? Tuesday? Not live yet. Well, kind of live, but not in stock yet. So we get tissue culture plants. So update on tissue culture plants. Why not? We're talking business a little bit. We cannot get enough tissue culture plants. So week after week, let's say we order 50 to 100 of each one. We get, on average, 30 to 50 of each one. So we can't get as many as we want, so that's a bummer. The thing to know, though, is in the members-only scratch and dent area, we now have tissue cultures. You're going, how could tissue cultures be scratch and dent? And you just said you're selling out of them really fast. In shipping to us, sometimes they can leak a little bit of their fluid, or the little flap comes loose a little bit. Well, that defeats the purpose of a tissue culture, kind of. Like, we basically have named them orphans. And what I mean by that is they're no longer 100% sterile, but they also are duckweed and snail free, and they're still a great plant. And Randy's basically run out of spots to plant them in the warehouse, and we don't want to throw them away. And so we're offering them basically at $1 off for members. So you save your 5%, but then you also get an additional $1 off. And some of them you won't even be able to tell. You're like, oh, this one, like, well, yeah, it had a little bit of water. We thought it was leaking. Some might be like, oh, it's a little flappy. But yeah, it's, if you go visit tissue culture places, they've got like bins of stuff that happens like that, and it just gets thrown away. And so aquascapers will go in for their YouTube videos, and they'll like get a bunch of them and use them. They can't show them on camera till they're in the tank because they visually like, oh, that thing doesn't look great. But yeah, deflapped. It's pretty much what it is. It's not a scratch. Nothing's happened to the plant. It's literally part of a seal of like, and it doesn't go stale. The other thing is we're working on getting that verbiage on tissue cultures. A lot of people don't realize tissue cultures are made to be in that package for months, like 3 to 6 months. So if you order tissue culture plants, don't worry when they're in the mail. We have some people like, it's been 6 days. It's like, you call me at 6 months. Like, I realize slow shipping sucks, but there are a lot of plants like tissue cultures, mosses, anubiases, java ferns, that bulb plants do crazy good. You could be like, oh, they were in the mail for 3 weeks. Like, yeah, it's fine. So just know that, like, oh, it's probably okay. And we'll always make it right on something that isn't okay. But a lot of times people like freak out about it. It's like, well, there's nothing you can do. Wait till it arrives. And then, if you got losses, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about that. Oof, that's a hard one. How do you accept the loss of a loved one? I bought 3 $70 Rasboras to cope, but realize that won't help long term. Rest in peace to your dad. That's hard. Everyone finds their own way to cope. Retail therapy, as they call it, usually is pretty short-lived, but maybe the way I've done it sometimes is, maybe you want to, I don't know if I would do it with the Rasbora, but you could get yourself like a Raphael catfish or something like that where it'll live for like 30 plus years, and maybe you name it after your dad or something like that. And sometimes that helps, like, it depends on the type of person. I won't get into all that, but yeah, maybe that'll help get through it, of like, hey, there he is. Do I still recommend feeding Daphnia? Option for live feeders. Yeah, I do. In fact, it's still on my to-do list. I want to set up a Daphnia pond because I really want to try feeding the Magic Small Fish feed. A couple people saying, yeah, they gobble it up. It works really well. It stays suspended in the water. I'm going, ooh, yeah. If that makes Daphnia a little bit easier, I'm into that. But I haven't been able to test it. So the answer is, do I still recommend it? Yes. Do I still want to crack the code? Like way back when, I don't even know if these videos are on this channel, I was able to harvest like a pound of Daphnia out of a 300-gallon pond every week. But then it would crash. And now that I don't have chlorine to deal with, I could do a way better job, I think, here because I'm on well water. So yeah, I want to play with it some more. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's Tissue Culture's one more perk of the members live stream. We're doing an overhaul because we asked YouTube, like, what more can we do? We want to grow membership more. Zenzo had a meeting with YouTube today, and did my foot hit that? Yeah, and literally asked, like, what are some other things other creators are doing that we could get some inspiration and try to offer more stuff for our members. And they literally came back with, like, honestly, we recommend other creators to your channel because you guys are providing so much. And it's like, oh. Because they're like, yeah, you do physical coins. You hire the speaker every month. You do the podcast. You have it integrated with the website for a discount. You, do the live streams where they get their own, member-only super chat. And it's just like, oh, well. Because I've spent many hours trying to, and asked on the forum, like, what more can we add? But we're trying to overhaul it so that there's more chances for people to read about and learn what the membership's about. Because basically, if you don't hear it in a live stream, you just won't know. And we should have it where you could stumble upon it, like, oh, what are they doing? Okay. Yeah, I might be into that. Basically like putting up a flyer. We don't put up any flyers to go, hey, this week or this month, we've got this person, giving a talk. Yes, Dean's coming over. I rescheduled, redid my week so that Dean can come over on Thursday. I think we're leaning towards working on a fry system. There's other stuff too, Dean. Put in your brain. Kind of want to set up some 20 gallons long term. I don't know where to put them. Kind of want to set up something for another goldfish or another membership benefit. We had the goldfish speaker, and then I shared with you guys the ability to buy goldfish and do the grow out contest with them. It's kind of just a little member perk. But I want to start theorizing where I might want to set up a pond. I kind of want to try to raise one in a tank, one in a pond, and one somewhere else, and just see, maybe I do like one on an auto feeder, one hand fed, and one in a pond or something, and just see, can I see differences? Or it'd be a great experiment to try. It could make me look terrible, but you could do like, yeah, this one's only ever eating the easy community pellet. This one's eating Northfin fish food, and this one's eating extreme. And then it'll, obviously genetics play a huge part, but it could be like, oh no, like the Aquarium Co-op one did the worst. It would make us look bad, even though I really do like our ingredients. But I will say, in case Andy's listening to this live stream, and you guys, like I guess I'm not just saying it for him, but I was feeding the krill extreme flake this week, and still good. Like, I realized, I'm like, yeah, I haven't mentioned that in a while. Like, it's still amazing. I love the extreme krill flake. I wish it was cheaper, just like we do everything else in the world. But it's good. Yeah. Fish were gobbling it up. It was good to mix it up with what I've been feeding. Yeah, oh man, I missed a grout contest. Yeah, maybe I'll put that in Zenzo's brain. Because I thought about that earlier about maybe we should run our own grow out contest every year. Like we could, it's the shipping of it that makes it hard, but I've done it in the past where you can go to your local fish store and like the white cloud race that we did. You could start with up to 6 white clouds. Any stock you want, could be gold, could be normal, could be longfin, doesn't matter. Could be Vietnamese white cloud even. You start with 6, you document it, you enter. It's free, it doesn't cost money, you just have to be a member. You document, like, here's my 6. And then you kind of grow them outside all season, you breed them, and then at the end, you count up how many you had, you submit it, you take pictures, and then we go a lot on merit, because nothing really stops you. Like, you could be like, I bought 20,000 white clouds, and then I won a $25 gift card. You could do that kind of stuff and ruin the fun for everybody. Or, like when I was doing it, the 1 year I participated, because I ran the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society Club. When I participated, I think I made 256. It was wild. I had a lot. They all came inside in my fish room. I ended up selling them to stores. It was kind of like, whoa, that felt good. And, fun. So yeah, I want to, maybe we could try to do something like that, because everybody around the world can kind of source that. I'm trying to, what else could we do that we could incorporate worldwide and not just, USA? Because if we had to ship them, we wouldn't be able to ship them around the world. So, Aquarium Cockpit, I just got a shipping delay from UPS on my Dan's fish order. I'm kind of stressed. I'll say this. The good news is Dan packs, well, his team. I don't know if Dan packs each one. So his team, his company, they do an exceptional job. If any fish are going to survive extra transit, his are going to do that. And then also, he will make it right. Like, so you don't really have money on the line. Fish lives are on the line. Don't worry. I recognize that. A lot of times people are like, you don't even care about the fish. Like, no. That's a given. Like, I never want to see an animal suffer. But the good news is, if something does go wrong, they will help you. They will make it right. If you're like, oh, I think it's sick, they will lend their hand and go, hey, here's how I think we should treat it. All of that. So, of the places to have a shipping delay when it comes to live fish, you got it from the best place you can, right? That's the good news. That's the good, what do they call that? They call that the silver lining. The silver lining is, hey, you got it coming from them. That's good. Bringing my products to the UK. Hey, just get rid of 45% tariffs in America. give us a year to sell that stuff and rebuy it 45% cheaper, and I can afford to bring stuff to a different country. Right now, we're just treading water, trying to keep our head above water, going, I'm swimming as fast as I can. Yeah, it's like we're stuck in a submarine or something. The water's like rising. It's like, oh, yeah. Got to get that. Someone's got to pop the top of that brine shrimp can. Oh, good. Let's go into the next compartment. Ugh. That's kind of where we're at right now. Let's see here. Kind of want those Adolphi Cories at Dan's right now. Aren't they like $1 billion though? So I always want to try to be true in that I'm a hobbyist. I make money when you guys buy stuff. But also, I think those Adolphis, weren't they like a crazy amount of money? Let me find them. Adolphi. Yeah, $70 a piece. Now, here's what I will say. Why I wanted to talk about this is that's a lot more than we sell them for in store. However, being that they're from Aquarium Glazer, they might be like a super high-end local breeder stock, or maybe they're wild. Like the fish. Well, wait. If you read the description, Corey. Let me read the description because I never read the description and now I just look like an idiot. So it says, overview. We had a Corey expert look at these, and it looks like we've got the real deal. It should be noted that all lineage 9 Coreys have serrations on their pectoral spines, but compared to Corydoras duplicarius, it is less serrated. These have brighter orange spots, and the black on their back is thinner. So that, let me back up a step. I could be the big fool, and the Adolphi Corydoras that we sell in store for like $20, $25, could be, maybe they're hybrids, or maybe they're just duplicaris. And I will say that Aquarium Glazer has an amazing staff at identifying animals. 2, their fish look insane. And 3, they're like $1 billion to get them from Germany to here. So what I would say is, now that I've read that description, which I totally glossed over, and that makes me look stupid, and I should apologize to Dan when I visit him. $70 might not be a bad deal, especially if you breed them, right? You breed them, boom, you're done. You breed them, you start supplying people with rad, high-quality Corydoras, you'll make your money back in no time. So, to be honest, that orange spot looks ridiculous in these pictures. Like on picture 3, looks real good. Like real good. And these are actually Dan's pictures. These aren't someone else's. You can tell this is just, yep, they shot them in their tank. They look this good. So, I gotta be honest. Maybe it is good. Maybe the person that said you're interested in them, maybe you read first where I glossed over them, and I look like the bad man. Hello from Dubai. Hello. How is the affiliate store project going? I do have some co-op products available locally. I hope it goes well for a long time. Yeah, it's going pretty good. Working on bringing on new stores, and we're working on, one of the things came up in a meeting today, which you kind of get to hear about this in the Mullen podcast sometimes. One thing that came up in a meeting today was I'm going to try to make some flyers that maybe you guys could print out and take in to your local store to help them sign up. What's up? Okay.
In case you're going to get the babies on camera. They're running well rested right now.
Oh.
And the bags over their eyes are camera ready.
Are you? My dogs are in here. Are you coming in?
Go get him.
Are you coming in? Oh, come here.
I didn't know he wants to show.
No. Nah. How you doing, Tinks? Normally we wait to the end of the stream, but they've been hanging out. That's why I got a dog bone behind me. We've got a little bit of plumbing and stuff going on inside the house, and Tinky, unfortunately, will bark until she runs out of bark all day long at somebody, and it's really annoying for them, and it makes her voice hoarse basically. So she's been hanging out in the studio all day with my wife, and they've left for the day, so now they can go back inside. Yeah, aren't you? Aren't you kind of do you like to yell at people? Huh? You don't look like you're a big old mean dog, but
Who's here, T? Who's here? Who's here?
is there somebody here?
Who's here?
Whoa. Go get him.
Come on.
No, she's done.
Yeah.
She's done for the day. So, all right. Let's see here. Where was I? Oh yeah, store project. Yeah, so we're gonna work on some stuff that maybe 5 you print or maybe all you print. It'd be super cool, and get more stuff into stores, because really what the store project is going to do, or we hope that it does, is that shipping goes up every day. Obstacles like tariffs and stuff impact the business, and if we can get bigger shipments closer to you, like the ultimate goal is pallets of aquarium co-op crap sent to a local store, and then you make a trip, you fall in love with fish and plants locally, and you buy our dry goods, and that helps save the planet, helps make us more money, as in like it's more efficient shipping. There's all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going well. We're at 200 and, well, let me look at the email. I get an update every week as part of, Randy, my vice president, writes me an email before our meeting every week. And so right now, which our competitors are listening in right now, they're looking to pounce. I know it. We have, where's the number? Right here. We have 224 stores, and 6 are in the onboarding process. So that means that they're submitting reseller certificates and paperwork and that stuff. Make sure we got everything on file to be legal to wholesale stuff to another place and that kind of thing. So yeah, going good. It's a slow and steady thing. I do think we could bring a lot more on, but we're vetting them. We'll turn people down. We sometimes we have to fire them. Yeah, and we realize that each store is its own unique thing, and not everybody's perfect. If one bad experience meant that we took stuff away from a store, my own store couldn't sell it. I remember when I was being overworked, I got bad reviews because I wasn't taking days off, and the store was real stressful, and like we were being audited and all this kind of crazy stuff, and I was being short with people, and they left bad reviews. And then that was when I really realized, like, I gotta hire people. I gotta get out of here. Like, not get out of here, but like, I can't work 7 days a week from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed and not expect myself to not get burnt out. And I still remember the customer to this day. I remember the customer to this day because they left me a bad review. It's got to be on there still, like on Yelp or something, because I kept telling them that they're like super low light 5-gallon tank wasn't a good idea for like an Amazon sword and normal hair grass and like another plant. And they just kept fighting me on it. And I was like, yeah, this is a plant that gets 3 feet. Like and they had parameters like, well, I don't want it to get too big, or, all this. And I'd be like, honestly, I'm not sure there's many plants, because they wanted to grow fast. They wanted all these parameters. I'm like, I honestly don't think there's anything I can sell you in my store that fits that parameter without lying to you. And I was like, I will sell you whatever you want. But we've gone through all the plants like 3 times now. It took like 30 minutes. And there's nothing that you keep asking a question. Like, the ones that will work, you don't like. The ones that won't work are the ones you do like. And so she ended up buying like a plant or 2 and then leaving a bad review on how I was combative. And if I'm being honest, yes, I was being combative, because it was like 30 minutes. I'm a solo employee in a store. There's other customers waiting. And I'm like, we went through this one. Like, yep, these are the one, and I kept doing like, these are the ones, because we have them, like all these green tags would work, these ones won't. And so, yeah. So anyway, that's a long way of saying like, everybody's got ups and downs, especially if you're, if you're a fish, not especially, but even if you're at a fish store, even if you're doing what you love, there's days you're overwhelmed, you know? So, how are my goodies doing? Do I have any left? I don't think I do. I think I'm goodiedless. Say that 5 times fast. Goodiedless, goodiedless, goodiedless. Can't. I can get like 3 maybe. Is Zenzo still wearing them schmediums these days? Kind of, yeah. Zenzo will be here next week. He'll likely be on the live stream unless he's got to get called into a meeting or something. So, one refused to endorse my bad idea. Would not recommend. 1 star. That happens too often. I think we got a bad review when we wouldn't sell bettas or sharks to someone putting on a wedding. They also wanted a deal. We're going to buy a lot. We need 50 for all the different tables. And they were going to be the centerpieces at each table. And we're like, yeah, we don't do that. What do you mean you don't do that? Like, nope. We're not into that. Not doing it. That was back when we still picked up the phone. So we don't ever pick up the phone anymore because it rings nonstop. But even though we try to hide our phone number and everything, it rings nonstop. We'll call some people back every once in a while. But yeah, the whole phone thing is its own bad review of the guy was on the phone the whole time. Meanwhile, it's like online people asking questions. And if I'm angry to them, they leave a bad review. Like, oh, I got to go, people in the store. And if I'm like, oh yeah, here's how you keep your fish alive and blah, blah, blah. And they're going, guy ignored me, he was on the phone the whole time. So we had to put the like, yeah, no phone in the store. It's a no-win situation. You can be working as hard as you can, and you're always disappointing one of the 2 parties. So, you should do a series on your pond this summer. Big plans for it? I don't have any big plans for it. I kind of want to, but also at the same time, I'm a realist. Like I've got, I got the event at April's Aquariums this weekend, Saturday. You gonna be there? Everybody going? Hopping on a flight? I'm also visiting Dan's Fish, and I've also got the store grand opening coming up, and that's all in the next like 2-ish months. I do want to work on the pond, but honestly, after this live stream, I might go to Lowe's and pick up my my dethatcher. That basically looks like a rake that you drag behind your lawnmower. Because I want to I bought 50 pounds of white clover seed. The meadow. So basically between my house and the pond, I want to dethatch as much as humanly possible. And then put down 50 pounds of white clover seed and get that to grow. So it looks like a meadow down to the pond. And so I've got every couple hours that are free, I'm going to be working on that. And yeah, I hope that my schedule and everything aligns to where who doesn't want to just sit down by the pond and like, oh, I'm feeding the fish and I'm doing things. Like, yes, that's totally, totally what I want to be doing. But then there's like, oh, this thing's doing a thing. Corey, did you get that thing done? Hey, what are we going to do about that? And then pretty soon like, oh no, is the summer over? Dang it. Bad reviews might make for a great segment for live streaming. Does not. I've done that in the past, and people get pissed. Because oftentimes, you'll get people that leave bad reviews, and they're still totally customers. Like, they just like to vent, and then they're like, oh, you called me out, blah, blah. I'm like, I just read the thing you left in the pub. You didn't have to do it on a live stream. Like, you're right, I didn't. But you also didn't have to write it. If you didn't feel that, like, I'm reading what you felt, and then I'm responding to it. Like, it's a no-win situation. So I'm going to be avoiding that. Anyone know what's up with Michael's Fish Room? I haven't spoke to it. Well, let me see when I spoke to him last. Michael Skurnick. I talked to him last. Oh, maybe my chat disappeared, so I can't see. But last time I asked him, I was asking him about the Subaru hybrid this year, which I'm not getting, but I was excited for it. And then I learned it only gets like 34 miles a gallon. Like, buying a hybrid only gets 34 miles a gallon? Gotta be crazy. Am I supposed to cut back the healthy lily pads for my red dwarf lily? It feels so wrong, but they're blocking the light. Yeah, I do a little bit of trimmerining. Trimmeruno? Give it a little trim. Trimmerino. Yeah, I like some light to come through. I should write a book about how you started to grow your business from scratch. I tell it in video. What I find, I want to write a book about how people will hire me, like Zenzo was one of them, for instance. People will literally hire me to get my advice on how to start a business, and then be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I always start them with, I remember the last people, one was a doctor, and the other guy was like, oh my God, the guy's going to run it, but we're both going to own it. And I remember I was like, yeah, so you got to go work somewhere else and run their fish store. And they're like, nah, bro, we're not going to make enough money. I ain't doing that. And I was like, if you can't run somebody else's fish store for like $15 an hour, there is no way you're going to earn enough money running your own fish store that nobody knows you're there yet. Like, that's just a core principle. And so I'm not even sure I've ever seen anybody that has opened the store or has contacted me, which is probably proof that I'm terrible at advice. But the true path that I think works is, you want to do this thing. Now go do the thing and have someone pay you to do it. So like, yeah, go work at your local aquarium co-op. Work your way up so you're managing that thing. It took 5 years, and you know every wholesaler by name. You know permitting processes. You know the city and what they hate about when you're going to open up your own store. You know all these things. And then you take your money and you go and you try to open up your own thing. You are much more likely to be successful than go, oh, I didn't know that. Ooh, I didn't know how to do payroll. I didn't know this part. Ooh, I didn't realize. I didn't know what triple net was. I didn't know. Unfortunately, that's what most people do, and they stumble through it going, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know what the right amount of rent to be paying was. I didn't know that there'd be some months you just can't buy this fish. I didn't know. And so, because it's not glamorous when you're like, yeah, you got a dream? We're going to put this dream on hold for 5 years, and you're going to work for $15 an hour. Oh, but, and then, they'll usually like, I don't have a local store. That's why I want to open one. Like, lesson number 2, don't open a store where there's not already stores. It means the odds are it can't support a store. You may be the 1 in 100 that can get the needle out of a haystack, and you pick the right city you happen to already live in to open up a fish store. Because people all the time will be like, my local city's got X amount of people. Like, that doesn't mean they want to keep fish. They could be into sports, right? Or something else. Like, it doesn't mean that. You could also live in like a tourist town. You wouldn't even realize, like, oh, there's all these people. Like, yeah, ain't nobody coming to a tourist town buying fish. So there's a lot to learn, and you put it in a book, it'd just be boring. But it might be more fascinating to write stories about the people that were totally going to do it, and then interview the people that did do it. We have a lot of RPP stores that do start out, they start working with us, and they watch what we did, and it is working out for them, and they all have different backstories and all of that. So it's it'd be better to write a book and ask people what worked for them than just me telling you here's what you should do, because that's what I do. Denise donating 5 memberships. I gotta say, can I do anything with this? That super chat is stuck at the top for me, and I love that feature. I am less likely to miss them if that's the case. So I hope that's a new thing. I feel terrible when someone's like in the comment section, I super chat, you never answered, you hate me. Like, I literally didn't see it. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. Yeah. Have I noticed any particular cities that are especially fish friendly? Not individual cities. I will say regions where there's less stuff to do, fish is more popular. So I feel like Ohio is like the mecca of fish. I don't know. I'd have to actually look, but Ohio has something like 3,922 fish clubs. Like, when I go there, when I've ever spoke or hung out around there, they're like, yeah, I think I go to 5 meetings a month. Like, what? Yeah, well, you got the one over there, it's 30 minutes away. You got that one's 20 minutes away. You got that one, you got that one. Those are just full on clubs. That doesn't include the Guppy Club and the Killifish Club and the Small Guppy Club and Dave's Guppy Club and the Goldfish Club and Denise's Guppy Club. And you're just like, what is going on here? This is crazy to me. So there's a few states like that where apparently all you guys do is fish. This is amazing. Yeah. Florida seems real fish friendly. It is real saltwater friendly. There are, a few freshwater clubs, but it's also pretty salty. I hear Ohio on so many podcasts. Yeah, I don't know. Sacramento has a very strong fish club. It's the capital city of California, but not really much else. Yeah. Plus, they work really well at the San Francisco club. I know when I went and spoke there, I spoke to both in the same weekend. Eric Stewart donating a membership. Thank you. Thank you very much. What tank mates have been successful for dwarf pea puffers? I've got some with some white clouds right now. So far, so good. But I could look over there in 2 minutes and it's a bloodbath too, so. Yeah, Michigan's got a lot of decent clubs too. Yeah. Colorado only has 3 clubs and one of them's not very good. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, is that a tiny violin? You only have 3 clubs in your state? I got one. I got one. Yeah. There are states that have none. See, that's what I'm saying is the people that have great fish scenes don't even realize they are the great fish scene. You got 3 clubs? Are you kidding me? 3 times a month you could be doing something? And they probably staggered it out for you. Probably every week you could go to a fish event. That sounds awesome. I think it sounds awesome. Yes. They do a lot for the San Francisco Club. The Findig is coming up on May 3rd and 4th. Well, unfortunately, Barbara and everybody else, you're not allowed to go to the Findig. You have to fly up to April's Aquarium in Vancouver, BC to come see me. Wait, May 3rd? That's April 3rd. May 3rd, you have to fly to Washington and come to my store expansion opening. Somehow I was real good at picking dates that coincide other fish dates. Like this weekend is our local club auction, but I'll be out of town. Ryan donating a membership. Thanks, bud. My country, Ireland, has 0 clubs. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. Closest club to me is 2.5 hours. Worth it. That's a 5-hour round trip. Worth it. Oh, it depends on time of night or time of day. If it's like middle of the day on a Saturday, doing it. I'm going to hit a lot of them. If it's like, ooh, it's a Wednesday night, like, ooh. Yeah, if you got to go work next morning, that's not so hot. Geek Boy says, one's salty and the other is quite a ways away. I went to the club meetings and auctions for over a year when the president of the last club asked me if it was my first meeting. Sometimes you just don't remember people. Still worth it. I'm in Minnesota and I hear it's a big scene for clubs, but I'm weird about just showing up alone. Yes, I will say if there's one thing to criticize clubs for, it is, on average, they're not very welcoming. And it's not, the people could not be nicer, honestly. It's just, fish people in general, we're weirdos. We're not super outgoing on average. And we're all kind of like, I don't know, weird. And so we're not super bubbly and outgoing. And so we're not good at inviting people in. The reality is, just go. And maybe it'll suck once or twice. But then you're like, actually, it's pretty good. Like, I met a guy, and that guy was new, or that girl was new, and now we're two new people together. Now we're not the new people, and now there's a new person. The other thing, like, for me, because I ran into this when I would go to, like, the ALA conventions and stuff, where it's like a lot of people flew and they knew each other for the past 30 years. If you start going, you might go the first time, you're like, I literally knew no one, and it sucked. But then you go the next time, and you're like, that person looks brand new. Hey, you new here? Yeah, me too. Hey, you want to sit next to me? What kind of fish you keep? And now you're not the newbie anymore, and the other person's not the newbie. But you can still keep an eye out for the newbies and going, hey, I bet you I've never seen that person here before, because now you've been here 3 times, right? Never seen that person. I wonder if they're new. Let me invite them. Let me be the person. Be the change you want to see. So, yeah, my club is friendly. Awesome. A lot of times you got like the super fish nerd breeder, and then you'll have like the spouse that is super outgoing, and that team is really good. You see it a lot. Like I don't want to talk to anybody. If I have my way, I just want to consume information and buy stuff. My wife will like go out of her way to chat up everybody at the club, and everybody loves her for it. She knows everybody, and that's what she likes to do. She does, she'll watch the fish, but it's people and mingling, and she likes it. Where I just want to be a fly on the wall, get my information, buy all the cool stuff, and get out of there. And that's what I used to do for a long time. Now that people know me, like, Corey, I had a question. And like, that's fine, because I don't have to be the one. I don't have to go and engage people. So that works for me. Casey, donate memberships. You're like in the Hall of Fame. You're getting up there, buddy. That's why I haven't gone to a meeting yet, and I'm in Sacramento area. I feel like I'm out of place just coming back into the hobby. We gotta organize something. We gotta organize like a. I wonder if we could. No, we can't. We never make a bunch of people work together, but we should. We should have like the January meeting or something like that in every club. Is like the newbie night. Like, it's expected that half the crowd will be brand new people, never been there before. Like, if you don't know, January meeting, that's when you go. Everybody knows January meeting, that's the new people meeting. And you spend time pairing off, like where, we used to do it at the local club, Greater Seattle Aquarium Society. It's awkward, but you do the like, hey, whose first meeting is it? And people raise their hand, and it used to be like, hey, stand up. Where are you from? What do you keep? Now all of a sudden, some other nerd's going, wait, they keep Goodheads too? I'm going to talk to them at the break. So you kind of, everyone knows like, oh, they live by me? We could carpool. And so even if we just did that at one meeting around the country, every January meeting, we all universally like kind of did a meet and greet, it would lead to much bigger and better clubs, I think. Oh, my wife is make co-op noob pins and name stickers people can wear to meetings and events. All right, that's a pretty good idea. Like a nerd symbol. That way at least other aquarium co-op people, because that does happen. You get aquarium co-op people are usually nice to each other, and they'll break the barrier down and go, ooh, a fellow aquarium co-op nerd. And then maybe if you're wearing, the thing, the sticker, the badge, or the patch, or the whatever, I don't know. I mean, it kind of works that way right now, but maybe we should make a shirt. The shirt says like, what if we had a shirt that says, I'm trying to think of what the right one, because you could have one that says like, I'm new, come talk to me. Or you could say like, have one that says, I enjoy talking about aquariums. I'm trying to think of, and maybe you guys would you guys, if you were new, right? If you were new to a club, would you buy a $15 shirt from like us that says like, hey, this is my first meeting, or hey, whatever, right? There has to be something for, if I'm the old crusty guy that's been in the club for 80 years, how do I know it's your first meeting? How do I know it's not your fourth meeting? I don't know. I'm old and I'm crusty. I don't know. But if everyone knew, like around the country, like, oh, that shirt right there, that means they're new to this club. So, yeah, hate feeling like a noob. Yeah, everyone does, but everybody's been a noob. That's the thing. Everybody's been that person before, and you all know how it's felt and how it feels when you're part of the group or part of the team or whatever. And so anything we can do to close that gap is really good for the hobby. Yeah, wear aquarium co-op gear. Yeah, that is kind of you see it happen at grocery stores and other stuff and pet stores and clubs, but there could be a specific, like, I don't know, like a telltale sign. A telltale sign. Still in quarantine, that's pretty funny. Yeah. You're not a newbie, you're just still in quarantine. That's pretty. You don't have to be new. You could just be like, that guy's in quarantine. Watch out for him or her. Very limited amounts of clubs here in Scotland. My previous club folded due to lack of members and then funds. That's a big bummer. That's a big bummer. Katie, nothing wrong rambling about dogs. They're awesome. Yep. Brightly colored shirt, kind of like a traffic cone orange. It's got to be, I feel like it's got to be something that can do a little bit of dual purpose. Like, I hate having, like, the wrong. Yeah. You don't want to have to wear a neon orange quarantine me shirt as you're like, oh, I went out to dinner, after the meeting or something. So it's got to be something where it's like, I see what you got there. Yeah, what about making a hello, our club, we put those out so when you check in, you got to wear a hello, my name is. Yeah. I'm trying to think of something that's like, that you would have on you, and I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll keep thinking on it. It's not something we got to figure out today. If you're gonna do something for newbies, the club should have designated greeters to boost participation. A lot of clubs do, like ours does. But you do get some clubs every once in a while where it's like, that guy's been running this club for 400 years. He's kind of cranky, and they don't like change around here. In which case, you're gonna need, like, hey, that person over there doesn't look cranky and 400 years old. I wonder if they're cool to talk to. How many dwarf hair grasses should I buy to fill 2 55-gallon tanks? I bought 11 units. Plenty. That's plenty. Basically, you're going to kill them all or you're going to grow them, and 11's enough. Really, all your like, wondering about is, are you willing to spend more money? Because you can do it faster. You could buy 100 pots, but you're like, that's a lot of money. And so 11 is plenty. Like, hey, you could put 5 or 6 in each tank, get them growing. They'll eventually carpet out. You want to do it faster? Get some more. Let's see. I do that at the front door when we go to clubs. Most people aren't or are alarmed. Yeah. Well, it's because we're fish people. Fish people go, people, huh? I want to see my fish. This lady's trying to talk to me. Will the new root tabs, when do they come out? Never. I don't know. What was the last thing I read? Last thing was they've got it like, we're waiting on something in Germany is waiting. That's what I know. Something in Germany, we're waiting on that. It's almost perfected. They're this close to having it perfect. Then that gets shipped to America for production. And off to the races we go. So, yeah. The like the 2-liter Easy Green or 1-gallon Easy Green, I'm not even sure what option it is anymore. We spent $500 to open up a mold for a cap. No, I lied. Spent $500 to open up a mold for the jug, and it turns out that company can't make it. Now they say, well, to actually do it, you need to pay $2,500 to open up another mold and we think we can make it. And it's just like, why have we wasted 6 months on this? So we're looking at some other options now. You guys would probably be surprised how long some of this stuff takes. Like, some stuff, yeah, it's just like, oh, that took 3 weeks, done. And there's other stuff that's like 7 years apparently. Working on 7 years. How could this be this hard? I keep telling them, like, how is it I can beat like a 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew with a baseball bat and it won't explode? But you put it in the hands of UPS, FedEx, or USPS, and someone 3 cars over sneezes too hard and it breaks loose. Like, both of those things can't be true. Like, can't we just put Easy Green into a 2-liter bottle? Like, how can this be? So, that's where I'm at with this. It's going, it's got to be doable. It's got to be doable. What part's wrong? What part is wrong here? So, I've adopted Candy's answer. Probably. When in doubt, ask Candy. She knows a lot. She'll know the answer that makes sense for you. I'll know the answer. I'll know the real answer. And usually the public doesn't need to hear that. Like, someone's screwing us. That's what's happening. I sound so defeated when talking about new products. Yeah. There's also good stories too. Like, Magic Small Fish Feed, amazing, right? Community Pellet, amazing. There's things that go really right. It's just, it's exhausting because you might spend years working on a thing and you get so close and like, turns out, just kidding. It's not launching. Like, what do you mean it's not launching? Or something went wrong. Like, what? So it's just a lot of energy goes in. And so also do know that, like, I had a doctor's appointment at 7 o'clock in the morning today. And then I had 3 hours of meetings. And then I kicked off the live stream. So by the time you get to this point, Corey's fed up. Corey's done. He ain't taking it from anybody. Got a pen in his hand. Can't take any more. Let's see here. I feel like you put one of those co-op food seals on that Easy Green bottle and survive the plane crash. So here's a funny thing, right? You're not wrong, Steven. You're not wrong. The seal is a very important part of this process, but we're trying to keep manufacturing in the United States because it's one of the few products we manufacture in the United States. I have zero doubt that if we took the recipe of Easy Green to China, they would put the world's best seal on it like we like, and it wouldn't have this problem. But I remain committed to our vendors. This vendor has never given us a reason to leave them. They work very hard for us. And I'd rather struggle through this for a year and get it right than just the first, not the first time, but just to go, you know what? Running a little bit of difficulty and moving to a different company. So, we try to only leave companies that we work with when we're given a reason to, like, oh, we can't get supply, or they're doing something wrong, or, something that, like, hey, you've put us in a position we can't go on anymore. So we try to be loyal. Corey just wants to see us fish and not talk to us. I mean, you're kind of not wrong. There's definitely fish where it's... Plus, I've got, like, products. Like, we got these two. These are 2 different versions of the same thing, and I've got a different one in a tank. Look, you can even... This one. This first version, so you can see this first version bigger and rattly. Nope, that ain't the one. This one, better. And then we've got, it's like version 4 over there right now going. Let's see if that's going to work the way we want it to. So, yeah. Owner threatened me with a ballpoint pen. I had to seek therapy. 1 star. It's not a ballpoint pen. This is an S-Gel Sharpie, I'll have you know. Yeah. Probably has a little roller thing or something. I don't know. Dispense the gel. What is hashtag STT? Seasoned Tank Time. It's how long it takes for your tank to get seasoned, roughly 60 days, depending. But yeah, as you guys hang out with us longer and longer and longer, right? You'll see some of these ideas get more developed, and season tank times concept into like, yeah, we're just full on embracing season tanks at this point, trying to change people's perception of cycling aquariums. So, have I read about decision fatigue? Yep. I tend to, I don't know if it's long gaming conditioning me for most of my life or something. I tend to do okay. I usually outlast. I book other meetings back to back because other people tap out. They're like, I can't do anymore. And I'm like, I could go another 8 hours. Doesn't even faze me. I think it's because I'm so passionate about it. That being said, I fully recognize that the longer you do any one thing, you will get worse at it. Like a fresh set of eyes or sleep on it. All those kind of sayings make sense because it resets you, right? It basically resets you and go, all right, let's take a look at this again. What am I thinking? Gives you time to decompress and look at it. So that's why we do things, every week. And like, all right, let's table that to next week. We'll think on it some. Maybe I'll have a new perspective tomorrow. Who knows? Do I know how they manufacture Easy Green? Are they using vessels and running batches? Is there any heating required in the process? Do you know the vessel size? I don't anymore. So early on, we had to, they had to keep upgrading equipment. They would show us pictures like, look at this crazy thing. Yes, I do know there's heat involved. I do know that you have to mix it in a specific, like the ingredients have to go in a specific order, because if you don't, they bind incorrectly and become unusable to plants. So there is quite a process that goes to it for making it. And so this company also makes our root tabs. And I think they bought a $70,000 root tab making machine, and it can't do it right. So now we're waiting on custom dyes and other stuff to be manufactured in Germany, where the machine was made, to be brought over to them to hopefully they change the recipe a little bit, the caking agent and the dye in a way so that it will hopefully be perfect now. That's the hope, right? And so, yeah. But part of it is, you're like, I just need what I need. And you're like, I just placed a $50,000 root tab order. Like, come on, 70 grand for a machine. Like, this is your job. This is what you do. Like, it's kind of, like the fish store saying like, well, I'm out of rubber bands. You're like, but I'm here to pick up my $3,000 order of fish. Like, you're telling me you don't have rubber bands? Like, come on, get rubber bands. This is what you do, right? You literally bag fish. That's your job. And yeah, so then maybe you're like us, and eventually you buy rubber bands by the ton, because we literally couldn't get rubber bands at one point. It's kind of hilarious. I was buying them from every manufacturer, and to be fair, I think still that one company stiffed us on $80 worth of rubber bands. Still irritated, like 6 months ago. How dare they? Is the tank you have... Wait. I think that's talking to somebody else. So the tank you have Blackbeard in heavily planted? That must be someone else. Yeah, everyone needs a mysterious white box in their aquarium. Well, if we ever actually release it, it won't be white. It just happens to be that's what I had loaded in my 3D printer. And we're testing with that. Well, Corey, will you guys ever do a worm-like food like Vibrobites, or does that have a patent? I don't believe it has a patent, because Extreme has some and Hikari has some. I won't say never, because I think it's a decent concept. I just haven't. I'm not sure, one, it's needed. Like, I don't know how much I buy into, like, they weren't going to eat it, but then we shaped it like a bloodworm and I ate it. So, to me, that's kind of like if you grind up broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and I'm trying to think of other things I don't like. You grind those up and you make them look like a cheeseburger. That still doesn't be like, oh, well, now that it's in the shape of a cheeseburger, I'll eat it all day long. So I'm still not convinced about that. But I do think there could be some fish that, like, that narrow shape might be good for them to eat. But I'm still convinced that most people are feeding too big a food for their fish. They don't really think about, like, you know, it's like this cashew, for instance, I've got on my desk here. Got a cashew. Is this the biggest thing I can fit in my mouth? No. Can I eat these by the handful I want? Yes. Could I eat them pretty easily? Yes. Whereas like an apple, I can eat that too, but I gotta take bites and I gotta hold it. And so when you're seeing your fish, like they put it in their mouth and like spinning it around, spitting it out, spinning it around, spitting it out, they're trying to like get a bite off the apple. And so to me, like our Easy Community pellets and our Magic Small Fish Feed, they're the cashews. Like, food is not meant to be as big as it can be. And so, for instance, an Oscar this big can eat pretty darn tiny pellets. Oscars, by the way, they have teeth in their throat, and how they chew is they continually barf it up. That's why when you see them, it's coming out their gills and everything. Like, that's how they have to chew. So if you get them smaller pellets, they don't have to do that anymore. You get a cleaner aquarium. That's an Aquarium Co-op cashew right there. What's up, Kyle Hernandez? I only use a heater in my planted tanks in the very coolest time of winter. Then it takes 9 months off. Good to know. My fish are indifferent to wigglers. Mine too. My fish, I haven't seen where like a pea puffer all of a sudden will eat Hikari Vibrobrites and it wouldn't have eaten dry food before. Pretty much my fish will eat food. And then if I offer them Vibrobrites, they're like, yeah, I'll eat that too. I haven't been like, oh, this fish that wouldn't eat dry, now it will. I haven't, not saying it wouldn't do it. I'm just saying I have never seen it happen for me yet. Could be. I heard Aquarium Co-op rubber bands and I don't even need them. I'm still traumatized by the discontinuation of the heater and the light. I feel like I got to collect all the original Aquarium Co-op products. I'd be lying if I said I don't daydream about that. Where is there going to be a day when there's like ultra cool collectible, like there's people that collect our crap? Because I run across stuff where I'm like, oh man, remember this thing? Like this little promo item or this thing? I don't even know if people know this even exists. From way back in the day, like some of the old school stuff, the ice scraper, the little button that said Aquarium Co-op, like the little pin. Those are old ones. You've got the coaster. You've got the koozie around a can. You've got the windbreaker jacket. That one was real limited. You've got, there's still, you know, I've got 2 more of these. Like maybe we'll find a way to give some of this stuff away someday. The Aquarium Co-op shipping container, miniature version. So there's all these kinds of things. Oh, you've got like the one we gave a ton away. I still want to do. One of my favorite promo items we ever did. I still love it. Anyone in my company, if you're listening, convince Randy and other people to work on it for me. I loved giving away the luggage tags because I geek out when I see somebody else at the airport with my luggage tag, and other people would be like, Aquarium Co-op, and they're bright green, so they stick out on the conveyor belt and everything. So they're like a useful thing that was just like random swag. So yeah, we need a Corey bobblehead. Probably cost $1 million. My head's huge. Would love. Wait, I still love my old zipper. Wait, puff zipper hoodie and the red T-shirt. Yep, red T-shirt's getting to be kind of rare these days. Yeah. Floaty keychain, floater boater. Yeah, and then there was all the limited edition merch. By the way, like Dean, if anyone out there has the Enjoy Nature Daily hat that's like never been worn and you're not going to wear it, Dean would love another one or two. It's his favorite hat. And I don't want to print like 200 of them to get Dean 2 more hats because they're expensive. So, yeah. Yeah, keep my OG Aquarium Co-op feeders a collectible. Still sad I haven't had any luggage tags. Yeah. Is it nice to have the braces off? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Kirk stole my red T-shirt. That'll happen. Ooh, I still love the blue Christmas ornament. I forgot about that. We have the red one this time, but before that was the blue one. Yeah, there's so many little things that have just been done over the years. It blows my mind to go like, wait, We've been doing this 12 years. Like, that's a long time. It's more than a third of my life, but pretty soon it's going to be like, wait, a third of my life I've been doing this? That's crazy. There's got to be other stuff, too. Yeah. I see it in random places, like family members' house. Like, oh, yeah, you got one of those? Like, back when we were so small that, like, so I had 500 luggage tags made. Turns out that's like a lifetime supply because we were a tiny company. Now, like a 500 count would be gone in the weekend. Like, oh, those went quick. Least favorite fish to sell in your store, but you have to sell it. The worst one to catch. Reticulated hillstream loaches. I love the fish. People love the fish, but it's a real pain in the butt to get out of the tank. I don't think there's too many things where I'm like, I really hate that fish. I wish we didn't sell it. Normally I just go, yeah, we're just not gonna sell that. I don't have to do things I don't want to do. I have that luxury. Any thoughts on doing another coin? The coin has been a colossal disaster. Like the free coins, people love them. The give us like $6 or $7 to buy a coin, people are like, no. Mm-mm. So yes, there is. I love the coins, but the problem is. So here's the problem. The problem is a coin run is like 10 grand. Like it's kind of a stupid amount of money, and 10 grand also can work on like that helps launch a product like this or something. And so the other thing is not a great profit margin on coins. Like it's just like, yeah, we paid $3 for it or $4 for it. I guess you'll give us 6. Like we do make some money, but yeah. So yeah, I would like more coins. Ooh, I love the Shrimp Rancher shirt you sold. Wasn't official co-op merch. That was a long time ago, though. That was cool. Yeah, I know the people that made those. We bought up all the stock to sell. Mm-hmm. My local fish store has a laminate card that says Hillstream Loach Catcher Card printed on it. Yeah, we thought about doing that too. I've also thought about trying to make a 3D printed version. Like, what would that be, Corey? I don't know yet. Like, imagine, of course not on my desk, that'd be useful. Imagine like the Corridora scraper, but maybe it's like longer and deeper. And you might be able to like, ooh, I got right underneath that guy. He fell into this little cage, and then you could like shake him into the, maybe. It's on my, of the 4,000 ideas Corey has weekly, put it on the list and maybe we'll work on it. Now I have to add a coin to my next order. I can probably say this, like the coin will probably be pretty rare. And what I mean by that is the Enjoy Nature Daily coin, we probably won't do another print run of them because there's like, I don't know, man, that was taking a long time to sell these. So if you're still a fish nerd in X amount of, long years, 5-10 years, they'll be like, wow, where'd you get that? Oh, that was a piece of merch from a long time ago. If you're a member, we reduce the price, so we're making even less money. But if you're a member, they're also, with your 5% discount, they're down to $5.69. So toss that onto an order and yeah. Still waiting on your 4th and 5th year coins? We could be sold out of those. Is that a true statement? If not, email us. If you haven't been in contact with us, email us. One of our people will make sure your account is flagged for it, and the next order you'll get them. We're not going to send them out on their own because that costs us like $12 to ship them to you, but we can make sure your account is at least flagged for your next order. They will come in. I do know at one point somehow our inventory might have been low or getting off. Let me see. I know we ordered them because I was like, oh, what do we place orders for? You said years 4 and 5? Where are they at? Where was that? I don't know where it went. I don't know. Speaking of that, do we have a Coin 7 plan? Nope, but I'm gonna write that down on my next meetings list. Coin 7, 7 months. I should start working on that. So we will. Let me write that down. 7-year member coin. Boom, just like that. Candy's used to be in a meeting. She knows. 3D printed coins? Maybe. So yes, I saw it. 4th and 5th year coins. 4th and 5th year, they're in stock. So maybe I'd have to look in inventory if we were out. One or two of those, I think we were out for a little bit. Yeah, they're back in stock. I think what happened was, like right now, the 5-year member coin, we have 477 of them. I think at one point it's like, oh, we have all of them at the retail store. Hold on, send more of those back over to the warehouse. So, yeah. Remember to resync your account with the website if you're expecting a coin to ensure that it's the right number of months counted. Yeah, every once in a while it gets a little hinky with the sync. Yeah. The 3-year coin was out of stock. Well, there you go. There you go. My grandson likes the fish stickers. Thanks for adding them in my orders. I'm going to add another thing. All right, had another idea. That's the problem. Every day, 10 more ideas. How many can you deploy? Military has huge coin culture. You'd get coins for different accomplishments. Then you could challenge people. Whoever received a coin from the highest ranking officer wins. What does that mean? Hold on. Then you could challenge people. Whoever received a coin, I see, so that you would, like, if Tyler and I challenge each other, I might be like, well, I got Dean's coin. And then you go, I've got a coin from Takashi Amano, you fool. Like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I could see how that could work. PJ Oasis, Corey, it's been forever. Hope you're doing well. Can't complain too much. Looking forward to that Yeti in 5 months. Woo! Got mine right back there. That's right, you get the crazy expensive Yeti at the 5-year mark. I will almost assuredly not release another product that expensive at like the 10-year mark or something. I will choose something more modest. That thing, like whatever a Yeti costs retail, we're paying more than that basically because it's customized. So at the time, I'm like, yeah, but I love my members. Let's do it. And then I'm like, the minimum order on that thing's thousands of dollars to get them customized. Like, ooh, I know how many are we down to? Let me. Half of my job is just looking at like, oh, how longer? 5-year. How much longer can we go until I got to spend thousands of dollars on stuff we give away free? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! We have 31 left in stock. How many do we go through? Maybe that's a better question. How many do we go through? All right, we on average we sell one every 10 days. Or not sell, but give away one every 10 days. So wait, I got some time. I got some time before I got to buy $4,000 or $5,000 worth of Yetis. Casey with another membership. In 5 years, Casey, you're going to put me out of business. Everyone's going to become a member. It's not true. If you guys pay, it pays for itself. That's exactly how it worked. Typically, whoever lost had to pay for dinner. All right, that's a fun little game. I like that. Casey, your button's stuck. That's a good. I like that. Susan SLC Aquatics, long time. Well, I say long time no see. I'm always a little sketchy when I say it, like long time no see, and then people tell me like I've been in the last 32 live streams. Like I missed you in the chat. I'm sorry. So if that ever happens, you know, just because you're here doesn't mean I saw you and I feel bad. But yeah, long time no see. I drove out to my local fish store when they became a partner to grab an Enjoy Nature Daily sticker so I could put it on the back of my work computer for my patients to see. Ooh, I give them that RX often. I like that. I do like that. I will say, my Nermi sticker that I put on the back of my laptop has been a champion. I thought for sure it would be all dinged up and crappy. I gotta be honest. I'm not a sticker guy, but these stickers seem to be legit. As in, they hold up really well. So, yeah. Do I still collect or play Magic? Nope. I will say though that I did in the last week. I have had my hands on magic cards twice. One because my wife was cleaning out a room and found some, and another one because I went to board game night and they had some cards, and I was like, "Ooh, let me see these." Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome, everyone. Please go enjoy the Mullen podcast and member videos. Yes, the Mullen podcast has been quite a bit of fun, honestly. I'm interested to see how long we can go without missing an episode. So far, 4 or 5. I think 5. Not that that's a long running streak, but with 3 people, in theory, we should be able to go indefinite. In theory. The In Theory podcast with your host. I realize I've been playing with this pen most of the stream. Our podcast people are going to hate me. Like, this guy, don't let him ever touch a pen again. Would you ever travel to Spokane? Yes. Kind of not like, do I go there often? No, I think I've been there once in my life. Would I go there? Yes. Especially, like, do you have a fish room? I'm into it. Yeah. How do I say this without sounding like a butthole? I would love to visit some people's fish rooms. However, time is limited, and I would like to review them before I commit to anything. So what does that mean? That means sometimes it'd be like, bro, you got to come see my fish room, and you have 2.5 aquariums, and it's a 5-hour drive. Not going to happen. Sometimes people are like, hey, you want to come and film? And the answer might be no. Like, I would love to look at your stuff, but I don't want to film because it's too loud or the lighting's wrong or something else. But I would love to visit more people and potentially film. Doesn't have to be. But I need an invite, and I need to vet you, and I need you to not get offended when I say no. The not getting offended part's the hardest part. Like, oh, I was so jazzed, and then Corey's like, nah, I'm not, I don't know, I got to try to fit it in. Because I do want to kind of try to fit in some, I'm going to call it local travel. Like an overnight at Spokane or something, right? Like, yeah, I could do that. I could drive over there, visit someone's fish room. We could all go eat some food, let other people know if they want to show up. And then I stay in a hotel and I drive home the next day or something like that. Like that does sound fun, but I got to kind of, I can't do it every day. And yeah, so am I open to going to Spokane? Yes, it's close enough. It's, sounds like a decent time. My wife says, I can say it. Corey's super busy and we have to schedule lunch or dinner out 2 weeks in advance. That gives us an idea of how much free time he has. That's true. Yeah, like my own wife, which I'm not proud of this, by the way. I'm not like I'm bragging. I'm just saying, like, I cram my schedule so full that it is an inconvenience. You're like, can we just go out to dinner tonight? Like, oh, I actually, like after the stream, it's like, I'm supposed to go to Lowe's and pick up my dethatcher. And then I actually have this commitment and I have this. I was not expecting that. I was expecting dinner at home. I budgeted that much time. Then there was these things, like I got to get this done for tomorrow. And then, Dean's on Thursday and Senzo's next week. So, yeah, Candy says, I'm super local and I have yellow labs that you want. I could be real tempted, Candy. I've thought about asking. Your fish room has done well on our channel and other people's channels. I am also, on one hand, I'm also trying to keep distance from employees. So what does that mean, Corey? Like, I'm always afraid everything's like, wait, that guy. If I don't explain things, I'm afraid people take it the wrong way. But let's say I go visit Candy's fish room and I film it and it goes well, right? Or it doesn't. Either it doesn't matter. If I just go film it, now you've got 20 other employees that might be like, "Oh, can you come and film my own?" And what if it's not right for the for the channel, or like, yeah, you live in Kentucky, maybe on the next trip if I got time. And so I'm trying to put, different segments. I don't know if not segments, barriers to myself, so that I hate offending people and making them feel bad. And so it's like, yeah, I could see that leading to, because then there could be, and I haven't had any of this, but then like maybe Broncho or other retail employees like, well, come see me, come do this, and like, okay, yes, I don't want you to feel bad, but at the same time, half the time it's like I wouldn't have committed to this if I knew it was 11 fish room tours. I was committing to this one time. That being said, I do think Candy's Fish Room would do really well if I was there. I do think I'd be impressed. I do think it would be fun for me. And I'm choosing most time basically to not do it so that I remain fair to everybody. And so, like, yeah, she's defending me, going, I've never been to Candy's Fish Room. Candy has been to my fish room. I've never been to her fish room, but I'm trying to maintain that separation so that people don't feel left out. So that's trying to do that. Tantrums don't work. You throw a tantrum, I'm definitely not coming. I don't know. I didn't see anything about tantrums, but definitely not coming. Spokane has good tacos. You hook me with good fish. Like, if you have a good looking fish room, I don't even care about filming. Is this part I have to do. Like, in a perfect world, I never want to film. I always want to hang out, ask questions, go, oh wow, ooh, yeah, ooh, ah. Instead, I gotta grab my camera, and now we gotta do a thing, and I am not going, hold on, what is this? Instead, I gotta look through the lens. There are so many events but so many places that I basically have only experienced it through this little screen, and I have to watch my own video because I was like, yeah, we were on a time crunch. I didn't even you've experienced it as much as I have, and I was there, and I don't like that. I would much rather enjoy the experience and be there. So we seriously considered visiting for the grand opening from the UK. Just can't quite make it happen because of family holiday. Man, that would be cool. We've had people travel from around the world before. I feel like if you're coming in from out of town, I could already hear Candy's ears perking up. Like, what are you about to say, Corey? You're gonna make my life horrible. I feel like if you're coming in from out of town, it never hurts to email us and just say, hey, I'm visiting the store, when there's an event, right? So if there's an event, like, oh, wow, really? Because sometimes there's like, you know what, we're actually doing a thing. I'm not going to go out of my way and not going to be like, well, we're going to make this whole event for you. But sometimes you're like, you know what? Turns out some people were doing this. You want to come? Because I know what it's like to go to a different country. Like, you kind of need the invite. Like, I don't know these people. I don't know. And then it does suck when you find out, like, you were here? I would have could have hopped in the car, could have went. But then also know, like all these little invites, only if the stars align. Don't email and be like, well, I'm coming. What day? Like, that's not how it works either. Like, well, what day am I going to come and Corey's going to tour me everywhere? Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Sometimes, like, well, Zenzo and I are in town. We were, going to go eat at this place afterwards. I guess if you flew halfway around the world, you can come. That sounds okay. But then sometimes there's like, oh, there's 42 people that want to come. Like, no, that ain't going to work either. So I vote yes for Candy's Fish Room. Just wait for the Steenfot to film Candy's Fish Room. I think they've done it once before. Yeah. The good news is there's other people that can film and that kind of stuff. And, Bob and Chelsea don't employ Candy and don't have to have different commitments and things like that. So, yeah. I do, I see pictures of Candy's Fish Room and stuff like that. And, she's got cool stuff. The Yellow Labs that she's got, I believe, came from me. So, yeah. I gotta call it real soon. I gotta call it now. I gotta call it now. I got stuff I gotta do. I don't want to stop. I even told Zenzo, I'm like, I don't want to stream today. I don't have time. It's like, you don't have to stream 2 hours. I'm like, I can't stop myself. Once I start streaming, I can't stop. Because this is a fun portion of work. There's spreadsheets, there's other stuff where like, there's people waiting on this information. Like I had to, have to re-up our corporation in Washington. I have to fill out a tax thing for, I think it was, I don't know, what state was it? Ohio or something. There's all these things that are like, none of it's fun. It's like, yeah, you got to do it. And I typically do that while I'm eating dinner or after dinner. And the longer I put that off, the later I have to work. So I'm going to call it. Thanks. Wait. Oh, I'm waiting. My wife says, wait. Corey just told 1.1 million people that he'll take you out for a drive and a fish room tour if you fly out. Yeah, I don't know if I said that. Although that's happening more and more lately, like on the forum, and like, I'm pretty sure I heard Corey say, and then it'll be something like, that is literally the opposite. That'll be the opposite of what I said. My wife's saying, where will you be this weekend? I will be at April's Aquariums in Vancouver, BC on Saturday. My wife will also be there, so you could meet my wife if you'd like. She's a nice lady. And maybe you'll see us out on the town. Not that we're out on the town people, but I know we're going out for dinner and that kind of stuff with some of the staff there. And, well, I don't want to claim that. I think so. I don't know. I basically just show up. I tell people, like, look, when you need me there, I'll be there. As long as, like, I think we're going to try to eat some Indian food. I'm pretty easygoing. And so I don't know who has to work, who's going to show up. But, yeah. So if you're in the area, hang out. And if you're not, well, hopefully I'll visit somewhere near you. But yeah, come hang out. And yeah, ooh, good point. I will be arm wrestling every person and forcing you to buy something. I can't actually force you, but I will highly encourage you to an annoying point that if you come all the way out to April's Aquarium and you come to their physical fish store, you should buy something. You don't have to buy Aquarium Co-op stuff, but you should support that local store that pays. They're paying for my hotel, I think. Or did we buy it? I don't know. But they're hosting us. Suffice to say, if you're gonna come out, hang out, and talk with me, buy something. Maybe it's a pipette. Maybe it's one thing of frozen food. Maybe it's a fish. Try to support them. Keep a local fish store open. Do your good deed for the day, and we'll talk. So, yeah, a nice lady. Oh, I don't think I can get away with that. My wife is very nice. She will shame you with how nice she is. She's just a kind soul. Makes me look real mean. I kind of am mean. So that might be doing a disservice to her. But yeah, she'll be making sure I eat. She'll be making sure I drink enough water, and that she doesn't have to take care of me like a baby on Sunday because I work too hard on Saturday. So she's only attending just so that it makes her life easier when I'm not whining about it the next day. So yeah. All right. It's time to go. Got stuff I gotta do. Gotta decide. Is today or tomorrow Lowe's? I said that yesterday. Is today or tomorrow Lowe's? Start saying that too many days in a row, they get angry. So, all right. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week. And if you are a member, which so many of you are, by the way, like there's a lot of members here right now. Maybe the Deep in the One podcast comes out tomorrow. We're supposed to film it tomorrow, and I always said I'm keeping it easy. I'm just gonna release them when we do it. So, because Dean's here on Thursday, huh? Sometimes I'm real dumb. Could have had Dean on the Deep in the Mullen podcast, but no, because I want to get the work done. So there's that too. But I don't know. It's been a blur this week. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Watch all of our stuff. Buy all of our stuff, would ya? And we'll